I would like to point out that Faulu Banking and Kenya Women, what you people are doing on the ground. Please come out and verify if those women groups here that you're really giving loans that are very expensive, if that is, a community thing that you're doing. So Innocent, you're bringing a good point. The message to the president at this point: enable your people, enable them to have those loans, cheap loans, interest rate, guys. If you want a mortgage, I know people don't want to hear somebody saying in Germany, but you live in Germany. So should you say you live in Mars? So in Germany and other countries, the mortgage is below 3%. 3%. Yeah? Sometimes you get even 1%. Try to get that in Kenya. The banks are stealing from people. They have these women groups that start like the community based. But before you know, they are going to be connecting with the banks. And many years ago, when I investigated, I found out that the interest rates that they were giving to those women, yeah, were even higher, because what they do for the women who are not working, these women cannot go directly to the banks. So these groups, they come with fancy names in the village and say, no, we are going to approach a bank for you. So you just be our member. So you see, these poor citizens are coming to the groups, but the group at the back or behind the tent is going to cut a deal with the bank, and you find the loans being really more expensive. At this point, I would like to point out that Faulu Banking and Kenya Women, what you people are doing on the ground. Please come out and verify if those women groups here that you're really giving loans that are very expensive, if that is, a community thing that you're doing. So Innocent, you're bringing a good point. The message to the president at this point: enable your people, enable them to have those loans, cheap loans. Simba Moja, then Jerry.
Hey, I hope you guys are having a great evening. I'm actually on this space while I'm out and about with my two sons. I hope the audio is okay. How's the audio?
It's all right, yeah.
It's
It's
good.
all
It's
right.
good,
Okay, yeah.
bro. It's good.
Okay, yeah. So basically, my before I kick off, I just want to say what the direct message to the president: people need a hand up, not handouts. That is the central message first before I even go further. People just need a hand up, not a handout. People need an enabling environment to invest in the country, and people need a place where they can bring their skills to play in a very creative fashion. So my thing is this: the Kenyan diaspora is over 3 million people. It's a constituency on its own, but that has also been discussed to a large factor. But if you look at the contribution, it's far bigger than tourism, it's far bigger than the horticulture, it's far bigger than a bunch of other sectors of the economy. So we need to be taken seriously. I've always said that over and over again. The government always tends to want to borrow money. They always want to borrow. They always want to finance the country using bills and so on. Have they ever thought about floating a diaspora treasury bill? Just float, trying to raise funds from the diaspora. Because if you look at that's like 3 million strong. We could definitely do a lot more for the country than what we are doing at the moment. But I think that the most critical thing that I look at Kenya is there's an absolute there's no rule of law completely. It's the country is falling apart on so many levels, and people are losing trust. I have friends who wanted to invest in Kenya, and every time they hear whatever is going on, people want to back down. I have Kenyans who are living overseas, and every time they think about retiring, it's always like, Kenya, yeah, I don't think I want to retire in that chaos. I was in Nigeria a few years ago, I think 1.5 years ago, and what I experienced there is like that is the same direction Kenya is also going to. It's a nightmare where you meet corruption straight from the airport, people trying to extort you straight from the airport, insecurity, all these kinds of things. It's going, but it's getting out of hand. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Simba, we can hear you. It's only that we're
Yeah.
saying that wind up, bro.
Yes,
Wind up,
we can
wind
hear
up,
you.
Yeah,
wind up.
I'm winding up. I'm winding up really, really quickly. So my thing is this: if the president really, really wants to show that he's taking us seriously, he needs to start off by uh, taming corruption in the country and increasing investor confidence in the country. Because us in the diaspora, we are very, very much interested in coming back and investing in the country. A lot of us are invested in Kenya emotionally and financially, but we are unable to really, really, really connect because there's always that feeling that every time the country might flare up and everything might go in flames. So that is just my central message to the president. Hand up,
Thank you.
not hand out. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Maj, you want
No,
something?
just say something.
Before you come
Go
in,
on,
Maj,
go
thank
on.
you so
Yeah.
much. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. We want to remind you that we have so many requests. So when you're done, it is important uh, to go out to the speaker so that we can add other people. Number two, we have 3 minutes. Everybody. Number three, keep networking, keep follow each other for us to network wherever we are as Kenyans, so that when we have these conversations, at least you get a reminder early. Maju is coming in. Bon I.
Let's have Gregory and then Bon I, and then there's a speaker who's been requesting and falling from the US. I think if you can hear me, please come back again. So Gregory, Bon I, and then RB Munga in that order.
Hi, greetings all. Sorry, my phone just dropped off. I don't know why. I'm Mwema Gregory calling in from Middle East in Precision Kingdom of Bahrain. And my take onto this is I would urge kindly the government to, first of all, open room for skill transfer and opportunity transfer because there is vast opportunities over here in the diaspora and they need to be tapped by the government. Another thing is I don't know why we're going out to borrow money if we can be able to open something known as a consortium for agriculture and other export opportunities here in diaspora to be linked with Kenya. For example, I'll give you a short statistics because of time. We see that like Jordan itself just exported to Kingdom of Bahrain, which is just a quarter of Kenya, tomatoes worth 81.3 million Kenya shillings within 30 days only. I can go back to something like onion, a normal commodity that we have on base. India and China and Oman both combined, they exported to Kingdom of Bahrain, which is a quarter of Kenya. It is 83.2 million Kenya shillings within 30 days. So with the agricultural opportunities outside here, in terms of what they need, because they rely on import of everything, we can be able to service most of the debt that we have in the country. So that is something that we need to put on the table. And also, I would urge us as the diasporans, also and youth, to be able to open something known as the diaspora or as the youth chamber of commerce, so that we can be able to subsequently tap into the opportunities and empower each other. Thanks and thanks. I shall keep on holding to listen more. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Gregory, for keeping the time. And Bon I, you're next. And then Munga, then Stradowski in that order. Bon I? He dropped. He dropped and
I can't say.
he dropped. Let me get on. Then we go to Munga. Munga and then Stradowski. Munga, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Sure.
Okay, go on. And start by telling us from what part of the diaspora you're logging into.
To go?
Yeah, please go.
Oh, okay. So my name is Robert. Actually, I'm not in the diaspora. I'm in Kenya. I studied abroad, but I came back to Kenya voluntarily. I studied in Canada, but I'm back in Kenya. But I still have family members who are based in the diaspora. And actually, on my return to Kenya, I had a very bad experience with the Kenyan embassy. That's the Kenyan High Commission. I was not very happy with the way they treated me. They're good people and bad people, of course, in every service. But my contribution has mainly to do with the approach that needs to be taken with respect to transforming Kenya. I know there's a lot of galvanization, a lot of coalition around the specific hashtag of Ruto must go. And in as much as I support this cause, I don't think that it's as useful as looking at the key issue. And the key issue is that we have good laws which are in place. We have laws which are very solid, but they're just not followed. And I think Okia put it the right way, is that what we need to do is that we need to hold people to follow the law. And if that is done, then everything else will fall into place. The reason we have activism is that people can break the law and get away with it, and nothing happens to them. And this has been going on since before independence. And the people who inherited this country at independence just continued with the same practices, and we've allowed it to happen. And I think what the events of the past few weeks have managed to actually shock government that people are not stupid. They can see what's happening. They've been holding these things in their hearts, and it's going to
Yes.
change. So my
No, but just as
my
you
contribution.
drop, just as you sorry, as you finish. Okia Mtata has said we need to implement the rules. Yeah. The
Yes.
regulations, which you also agreed to. Yeah. But the question is, let me give you an example. If you have malaria, then the thing is you need to take antimalarials for you to recover. So if you don't take those antimalarials, you're going to die. So what options are you giving people? Should they die while waiting to take the drugs? Because we are saying the drugs are there, the medication are there, because the laws are there, they're not being implemented, and the symptoms are being felt by the citizens. That's why they came out there. So as you finalize in the last minute, could you kindly also tell us how we can mitigate through that as we patiently wait? Because if they were implementing what they were supposed to do, we wouldn't be having people being so jobless and not, even caring about their life. They will say they're even dead when they're not, don't go to the street. It doesn't make any difference. Back to you.
Yeah, thank you. Definitely, you need to have a concrete plan of action which impacts day-to-day life. And what I would say to that is the thing that made the Reject the Finance Bill movement successful, I'll say, although that the jury is still out on that, according to me, was the fact that we picked a specific issue and we focused on it. And all the pressure was applied on that issue. And the same approach can happen for the most pressing issues that we see. Of course, there will be fragmentation between the different groups. And that's why I was saying, although Ruto must go is a very emotive and it's a hashtag that galvanizes emotion, it might not be so practical from the point of view of achieving a better standard of life for people on the ground. However, you can take something like the fertilizer scandal. We know that the principals who were in charge of that ministry when the scandal happened are still in office, and there was no political responsibility that they took, and they're just sitting pretty in office while everybody is chasing very many different fragmented goals. So the movement or the feelings that people have to be focused. For instance, if everybody said, Ruto, fire this guy tomorrow, otherwise we're going to shut down the country, he would have to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We don't need promises.
But as
We
you
don't need
kindly
promises. We
finish,
don't
I
need.
don't want to sound
When we
like I'm
approach the
interrupting
issues,
you, but kindly land, please.
sure. So for me, my prescription would be let people pick issues one at a time. And as I sign off, I'd also like to greet all the NSIS agents who are in this group and the police people and political operatives. You're also our fellow Kenyans. And at the end of the day, when Kenya works, it also works for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Munga. Let's go to Stradowski and then Bernard Kavu, and let's keep 3 minutes each because we still find a lot of people want to, we still have a lot of requests on the mic, and yeah, thanks. Stradowski?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please proceed.
Okay, thank you. So I'll be very short. Thanks, Marge and Hillary for hosting us, and thanks, Honorable Okia, for joining. I will just say straight that Kenya is a very rich country, extremely rich, because the rate at which it's being devoured or robbed, it could have fallen, but we are still standing. It's not about how much we get, but it's about of how do we spend. So I've noted down some few key areas which I would like to point out. One, the politicians or the political class in Kenya, the salary they are earning, I don't think there's any justification. Even president himself, his salary is about 3.5 million, yet he's living in State House. He has everything paid for him. What is the justification for that high amount of salary? Because in euros, that is about 30,000 euros. The Finnish president, where I live in Helsinki, earns less than 10,000 euros, which is about 1 million. And he doesn't use state vehicles, if not on official duty. I meet him in the shop market walking on foot. And then two, the allowance that is paid to the political class. Unfortunately, but true to say, the salary of the MPs, I think, is somewhere between 500 to 700,000, but the net they go with at home is about 1.7 million. So how can allowance be double the salary? Allowance should be much, much less than salary. There's also this thing called mileage claim by the members of parliament. It is something that needs thorough auditing because in most cases, there was some article going that some lady Florence claimed over 40,000 kilometers. So we know where the parliamentarians come from, their distance between Nairobi to their constituencies. So this, I think, we should have an upper limit. I also believe that Kenya is overrepresented politically, so I don't know if there is a solution to that. And when it comes to policy, somebody asked about education. I will not touch in that. But what I see in Europe, especially in Scandinavian countries, and I think it happens in Germany and others too, is that politicians should not be allowed to talk on professional issues they don't understand. The honest truth, some of our members of parliaments, they might be educated, but not in those areas. So what I see here done is that we have professional working groups under the ministries, and then those professionals working groups are the ones which come with the policy. So if it's health, you should have health professionals making policies which govern the health sector. If it's education, you do the same thing. So this is just my few cents which I wanted to add, and also just now to land a message to Ruto is that on his address to the nation, he talked of canceling the first lady, second lady, that is the wife to the vice president, will be scrapped, and the CAS. But what he didn't say is that can he quantify how much will be saved with that, and how much money the government will get back, and where this money will be used. Thank you. That is all I.
Thank you so much. That's a Kenyan in Finland, Stradowski. That's a diaspora voice from Finland. Thanks for that. We now move to the UK diaspora. We have Bernard Kavu. Over to you, Bernard.
Thank you very much, this is really great. This is a good space for us in diaspora. I'll try. 3 minutes is really not enough for the things.
I know. It's
you are really mean on that, but I'll try. I'll try my best. So to start with the Gen Z, and I want to echo what my colleague and respected friend David Orgega said. The Gen Z is really a great movement, and yes, they go by tribeless, leaderless, and all that. But for any great organization, structure is very important. And I want to speak from the diaspora point. In the UK, I observed that I didn't know we had so many youth, Gen Z, really, and in the US, Ireland, I watched Australia, everywhere where there were demonstrations. There is a big chunk, and now I'm talking about diaspora. It's time there is some kind of coordination between the Gen Zs on the ground in Kenya and those in diaspora. Why is that important? Because the Gen Zs in diaspora would be more enlightened into progressive ideas from the countries they've lived into, and also when it comes to funding and so on and so forth. So I'm just saying to them, it's time they came up with a structure and incorporated not just those who are in Kenya, but those who are in diaspora, because this is a diaspora forum we are speaking on. So that's the first point. The other point is something you mentioned, Mike, about voting and so on and so forth. It is really unfortunate with the IEBC is not active now, because here in diaspora we've been fighting for voting rights forever, and we made progress from having 5 voting countries in 2017 to 12 voting countries in 2022. And now it's very unfortunate that IEBC should be busy now expanding this number, because we want more countries to be able to participate in 2027. And that's not happening because there is no IEBC. So this is really a matter of concern. The same way Gen Z and the previous speaker said they picked an issue, the finance issue. People focused on that. I think diaspora need to pick an issue, the issue of voter registration and voting. We need to pick that as an issue and work and move with it. Unless we do that, we'll just be all over the place, as you said, fragmented, each one pulling their own direction. And we are not heading anywhere. We need to pick an issue and say, we need IEBC to be in place, and we need them to start the progressive. What is promised in the constitution is that there should be progressive registration and enabling of voting in diaspora. We need this to happen now, not to wait until 2026 or 2027. Then IEBC comes running and say, okay, we are going to add 2 more countries, start registering, and then we end up with 10,000 votes, and they say, oh, diaspora just talks and they don't vote. We don't want that. We want this process to begin now. So my message to the president really is very simple. Let's have the IEBC constituted, and let's get the diaspora matter addressed. We want every country in diaspora where there is a Kenyan consulate or embassy to be able to register and vote in 2027. It's a very simple and clear message. And I'm asking that everyone in diaspora, let's make this our issue now, instead of pulling all these thousands of issues which we cannot focus on. Let's focus on one thing. Let's get every Kenyan to be enfranchised. So come 2027, we can vote. What are we talking about here? We're talking about 3-4 million votes. With 3-4 million votes, you are kingmakers. You can make a president. I'm just telling you, do the math. The last election was decided by 200,000 votes. If we have 2 million, 3 million votes in diaspora, it means we will be the swing vote in that election, and we will be listened to. So all these cries we are making, we can cry until the cows come, but unless we have something that can make a difference, that can make an impact, nobody's gonna listen. So I am saying, Mr. President, please get us IEBC, get it up and running. Let them engage with diaspora. Let us start voter registration in diaspora, and let it be done by people who live in diaspora. You don't need to spend money sending people to come and spend a month staying in hotels in the UK, registering voters and all that. We've got Kenyans who live in diaspora. Let them own this process, and let us do it right. So that's my simple message. 3 minutes is not really great, but that's all I have to say. And Gen Z, I'm saying, do not just be selfish and think your movement. Yes, it was in Kenya, very successful, but you got a lot of support from diaspora. Incorporate your diaspora. We have what we call Diaspora County 48. I am the governor of Diaspora County. Every Kenyan who lives abroad belongs to Diaspora County 48. I'm asking you guys, let's stop this bickering, infighting in diaspora. We all belong to one county, Diaspora County 48. Let's join in. Let's have one agenda and let's take it home. The way Gen Z took the finance bill home and they landed it. Let's land our own county. Let's be able to run our own affairs in diaspora as our own county. I can see the hand is up, March. I'm just saying. Thank you very much. Whether you are an organization, whether you are an individual, we are not saying dissolve your organization. We are saying if you live in diaspora, you automatically belong to Diaspora County 48. Your vote in 2027 will be counted under Diaspora County 48. Let's make it count. That's my message. My name is Bernard Kaviu. I live in London, United Kingdom. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kaviu. The matter on registration is really one that all diaspora associations are keen on. We need to do that. There is a petition involved. We cannot leave that in the hands of IBC because they interpret it differently. Then they will come and tell us that, we are adding you one country. What the demands of the diasporans are is that every... somebody has the mic on. If they could mute.
Hello?
John and Collins, I see you. You're gonna go, but please mute your mic. So that every consular is made a polling station. Let me mute Collins a bit. The consulars that we have, and then they should have at least 6 modular voting. Opportunities for diasporans. So that is the call that a lot of diasporans who are speaking sent to me. That's the message that I'm putting out there. And many diaspora organizations, including the County 48 and KDA and the one for David again, all of them and even from Finland, they're also diaspora organizations. All of them want to vote, but they have to petition, and it has to be made law before there's a stop, before there's some months before the next elections. You cannot create any laws anymore. So once we give this registration, thank you so much, Kaviu. Anna wanted to chime in. Anna is also like a co-host. So Anna, please chime in. The Iceland diaspora. I'm putting the mic in between.
Yes, thank you much. For me, to be quite honest, is simply this system has failed us. And if Tata comes back, and I keep butchering his name, Tata, the senator comes back, he would tell you the deep how things are bad, and that it's not only in his county, but widely all other counties. I think our focus has been on to the money that is being given to the counties and how it's spent, whereby there is money that the counties are collecting. The law says that they shouldn't open accounts with some certain banks, but this is what they do. They open accounts in certain banks. Those money do not go to the county coffers, and it goes to individuals' pockets, some politicians' pockets. So we have money that is being drained from both ends. That is why you see a lot of counties are frustrated. But the concentration is on the remittance that is given to the county, disbursement of money, rather than the money that is collected in the county level. I would love Maj, if you could ask him on that. So for me, the message is very simple. Unless things get working on the ground, me as a diaspora, I don't see a chance of making any difference. I can scream, I can help, I can elevate people's on the ground's voices, but unless things work on the voices on the ground, we need the system to function on the ground. So my message is simply this: Ruto must go. We must fix the system to deliver for Kenyans. Thank you much.
Thank you so much. Collins, John and Peter, Ruto must go in a title, and then Paul. But I hope for the speakers there, I hope you're in the diaspora. If you're not in the diaspora, kindly please let's have diasporans speak first. We don't want to discriminate against you, but we're going to open a Q&A session for you guys in a few. So Collins, start by telling us what part of the diaspora you are. Then John, Peter, then Ruto must go, and Paul. Ruto Masco, let me check your name. Oh, your name is only Ruto Masco. Okay. Over to you, Collins. I think I muted you. Let me unmute. Is it? No, I think. Try to unmute and speak, Collins. Okay, Collins is not able to speak. John, then Peter in that order.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Hello.
Hello. John, hold on. Collins, let's go.
Hello, this is Collins.
Yes, from which part of the diaspora?
Is it my turn?
Yes, it's your turn.
Oof, I can't hear anything. Just a moment. Just a moment.
Yeah, okay.
Just let me change my device. Just a second.
Collins, we can hear you. Can you ask Collins?
Yeah, I can hear Collins.
Okay, let me talk now.
Okay.
Okay, can I talk now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, Collins. Go ahead.
Yeah. Basically, I mean, first of all, I thank you so much, Maj, for this wonderful opportunity. My name is Collins Owuor. I am in Botswana. I mean, that's foreign in Botswana. And basically, first, I'd like to give a condolence message to all our heroes, the Gen Zs who lost their lives. In fact, they will go down history books that they fought for our country. The second freedom for our country was won by the Gen Zs. And I believe it will go down history book that they did something which not many of us could do, because as we are past that age. First of all, let me recommend something as a feedback to what can make our country better. Number one, our electoral system is wrong. In that, I'm in Botswana, and it's like a gem of Africa. It's like it's a country which, it's a small country basically, but it's doing so well within Africa. Why? We have a presidential system in Kenya whereby the president will amass a lot of people around him, and they go ahead to form cliques and to form all these alliances. So the country is always on this mood of politics. There's no time for the president to engage in building the country. So I think we need to change our system from presidential to parliamentary, which will be easy to control. Remember, the Orange Party, if you had a system like parliamentary system, could have won the election. But because people were rigging in those areas where they didn't have agents and all that, you find that it's a very complicated system, this presidential system. Number one, parliamentary system is easy to control, and also we'll be holding our parliamentarians accountable. That's fine. We elected you on ground of 1, 2, 3, and because we elected you, have you delivered your manifesto? That's number one. Number two, for us to be able to make our country better and turn it, to be the Switzerland of Africa, the way Botswana is right now, we need to consider nationalizing our mineral resources. Let our minerals be owned by the country so that everybody can benefit. If we find gold in a given area, let that gold be owned by the country, be exploited, and be sold so that the country can be able to develop itself. Botswana, they got diamonds, and the diamond is not owned by any single person. It's owned by the country. And the same diamonds, it's sold, and we have got free education, we've got free healthcare, we've got best roads, we've got everything. So I think we need to change a system whereby nobody owns resources, mineral resources in the country. Let them be nationalized and let them be used for the development of the country.
not a few people in the clique, a few people will be owning it. Marge, I can see your hand lifted. I'm just running up. Last point. We need to have a system run by technocrats so that government people should not be fighting for the positions. You know, technocrats to be independent running the country, let politicians run political issues. I think that's the point I can give, and I believe you shall give me a chance once again. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's lovely to hear from you from the diaspora in Botswana. And so, yes, we'll give you another chance. Let's proceed now with Peter and then Martin, and begin by telling us from which part of the diaspora you are dialing in.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm currently in the United Arab Emirates, the famous Dubai. So I thank you for this forum, and I thank you for the Gen Zs who are fighting hard to rescue our country. And thank you for everybody who is supporting them all over. My point is just to the president, just do a total overhaul of your system. Because if the system is not working, nothing will work, because it is all corrupt. We need a system which works. Where we are now is total shut down everything in government, because where you go, there is no service. Everywhere you go, there is no service. Money is stolen left, right, and center. This thing, we need to do away with it. I can give you a simple analogy of a family, whereby if you are a father, you have given money to your son to spend. You know what you told him to go and buy. Definitely, if he did not buy those items, then he has to tell you where he took the money or what else he did with the money. So the government knows who is stealing money. They cannot tell you just money disappeared. Everybody is given money in his ministry. He should be accountable and account for every penny that he was given in that ministry. If somebody, we know who was given money, they know. The president receives money from outside and he knows how he distributes it all over. So they cannot tell us they don't know who is stealing money. They cannot be telling us they don't know who money, how it disappeared. They know. They know who took the money. They know who is stealing what. They know who is investing in his own business. That's what, it is simple as that. They don't stop lying to us that they don't know where money is going. This is a cartel system from the presidents all the way down to the counties everywhere. They know where this money is going. It is simple and clear. Thank you very much, and I appreciate.
I think I cut a minute short. You take 1 minute, because when I'm raising my hand, you have a minute left. Just so in general, what's your message for Ruto?
My message is for him to take account for everything, because he knows who is stealing. He knows where the money is. He should get those people in jail. And that's all we need. We need clear, total overhaul of this system, because we know it is corrupt. And he knows who is stealing. He cannot tell us he doesn't know. He knows. He knows who is taking money. They know. They know themselves.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's a voice, a diaspora voice from the UEA. We move to the Iceland diaspora. Paul, over to you.
Hi, can you hear me?
I cannot hear Paul. Hillary, can you hear him?
Yeah, we can hear him.
Okay, then let him finish, and then you guys alert me when he's done. Yeah.
Go on. Take the mic. Paul, you're breaking up. If you could fix your internet, probably. You're breaking up. Marge, Paul is breaking up. Maybe give it to the second person.
Yeah, we can't hear Paul.
Okay.
I think.
So let's
Paul,
let's go by Martin.
You can leave and come back.
Okay. Let's go by.
Okay.
Marge, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
All right.
Yeah?
Paul is back, I think.
Okay. Then finish with Paul, and then you let me know, Hillary and Anna.
Okay. No, he's done. Well, Martin, go ahead. Paul even is dropped.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Hi. Hopefully you can hear me.
Loud and clear. Please proceed.
Yeah. So I'm Martin. I'm based in the United Kingdom. I just want to start by saying that I'm very proud of what Gen Z have been doing in trying to turn around our country, because frankly, some of us, are out here because of issues that they have raised, issues to do with corruption, immorality in the society, lack of ethics and stuff like that. The point I'm trying to raise is that unless we have a correct diagnosis of the problem that the country is facing, then we will not get anywhere. And I'm not going to make it rosy for anyone, but I think Gen Z, what they have done is just a start, but they need to do that by looking at the mirror and not just the young youngsters themselves. I have 2 Gen Zs in my house, but every Kenyan needs to look through the mirror, because the problem is just bigger than that. The problem we have is a general society issue of lack of ethics, of love for corruption that we need to face, as a society. And without doing that, we are not going anywhere. So my message to the youngsters, my message to Gen Z is this: start by looking through the mirror. Look through the mirror, start from your home, start with your friends, start with people you know. We all know people who live beyond their means, our friends, right? We know people who are corrupt. We know people who are stealing from the government. Tell them off. Let's tell them off. Tell them this is what is killing our society. This is what is killing our country. So, in as much as we want to do this lazy slogan of saying the president must go, we have to make it a bigger issue than that, because taking one person from the equation doesn't solve anything. So we need to make it a bigger, to have a whole society solution to get anywhere in this. And so, yeah, that's the thing I wanted to raise, that we jointly have to tackle this issue. And it's an issue that is in the entire society: ethics, morality, corruption is actually a whole society thing. And everyone in this group must know somebody who is it my time off? Sorry.
Yes. So please land. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Shall I stop there?
No, just take the next 30 seconds to land. Yes.
30 seconds.
All right. Yeah. So anyway, I know that the other part you are trying to ask is, what should we tell the president? I think for me, the message would be there are things that are within his power to change. If he's able to change what is within his power, that would be fantastic. If he's looking for people who can change from the diaspora, there are enough people in the diaspora who can, create change for the country as well. That's all for me. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Martin. Let's go to Dr. Fanuel, and then Jerry, and then Why Not and Duta in that order. And Simba, I saw you dropped while you're finishing, so we'll give you 1 more minute later. But let's go by Fanuel, and then Jerry, then Why Not and Duta, and then Simba in that order. BK, I see you. Dr. Fanuel, please begin by telling us from which part of the diaspora you're logging in, then 3 minutes.
Yes, hello. Good evening or good morning, or I don't know each part of time. I'm in Berlin from German. I've lived in Berlin from 1972. I came here when I was 12 years. So far, what I can say, what we are talking a very nice scenario, but the problem where it is only that we as Kenyan, we can talk without the structure,
We need structure, a strong structure, which can work in Kenya. We have some pillars in Kenya which they are not working. If we cannot make these pillars to work, it's only the government pillar which is working. We don't have the pillar of job creation. We don't have pillar of training centers. We don't have pillars of investors. If we make these pillars to be strong, I am telling you the truth, even the government, they will not have any power. But the problems, we have left those pillars, like how it is in Germany here. We have those 5 pillars, they are working. That's why you see there is a little bit, not so much corruption, which is in the system. And here in Kenya, why people they steal? Because there is no any pillars they are working there. So I'm trying to say, if the Dr. William Ruto, he want to make his country, our country, to be strong, or to be he must open these pillars to be in order. Another thing is this: the problem is what it is in Kenya. If we as diaspora, we want to support and help Kenya, but the problem is what is there is this: if I take someone who want to buy, who want to make a company or investment in Kenya, you go there, they wait for you. They want, before you talk to anybody, they need 50 million, 20 million, and to talk to someone who want to bring trillions of money in the country. So these people, they say, no, we don't want to do any business with this country. So they are chasing business people away. So we need these business people to come on the ground to give people jobs, because the problem what is in Kenya is job creation. So this job creation, we must take these people, our people who are outside, even diaspora, people like us. If we want to go and invest in a country, we have problems, huge problems, because of you cannot get this paper, you cannot, because you need these people in the government. So there is where we have a lot of problems. So I don't know how we can organize, because I started last time, I took the Chamber of Commerce from Germany. I'm the one who brought them when there was Raila on the seat. I'm the one who brought them there, because I have a very good link with Chamber of Commerce in Germany here. So I brought them there. What happened? We sat, we talked. After all, they took those people and they ran with them. They didn't want even to know about me. So they just chased you away. And the Germans, they say, okay, if you have gone away, we don't want to work with people which we don't know. So you see, there is this attitude which is in our country, in Kenya. We as diaspora, we must see how we can organize and try to tell them this is not right. So I think this is where we're supposed to be very strong. We must bring the structure on the ground. Thank you very much and have a nice day.
Hilary, go before I. Yes, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, as it land, I think Natali, if you can come with those structures, is very important also sometimes. So that this is what I'm thinking, and you come with the proposals, then we can work with it. Because we're saying that there's no structures, and there's a little bit structures. I think my other speakers should give us this what we need to do. Then we come up with the structures, so it will take us centuries, because we'll be talking on that. And then I think if he has a proper structure, he took Raila to Germany and other things, and things are not working. What were the feedback, and what is he thinking that he can do? Thank you so much, Dr. Ali, for that submission.
Yeah.
Who is coming next?
Thanks, Hilary. I wanted to chime in. What Dr. Fanuel is saying happened in Berlin is the same scenario that happened in Munich when some government officials came here. They come, and then when they find diasporans already working on projects, they take over. They use the office to take over. So if you look, just go and check which government officials were in Munich. You will know which person that was. They just came in. Now all of a sudden with the title they're having, they said, they took away projects from people. So they're corrupt on the ground. When they come to the diaspora, they use the title to even take those projects that diasporans are doing, but they go back and give them back to their corrupt people. So, but that will follow up there. So I see that Paul has come back. Paul, hopefully we can hear you. But Paul, let Jerry go. Jerry has been asking for over a lot of time. She's in the US. Then you come in, and then Duta. I think
Hi.
Hi. Finally. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
finally, yeah. So my name is Njeri and I live in Washington State in Seattle, and I feel bad for the Gen Zs who lost their lives because of this government. But let me go straight to the point. I have two issues that I want to raise. One question I want to ask is for Okia Omtata. When I was in Kenya, I worked for an organization, and one of the things that I noticed was, since the Ministry of Foreign Affairs signs headquarter contracts with some foreign organization to come into the country to set up their headquarters within the country, I have no issue with that. My issue goes to, why is it that the headquarter agreement also allows for foreign employees to come into the country, work on tax-free basis, get additional allowances which are not taxed? So that makes additional allowances being things like housing up to like 100,000 Kenya shillings or 200,000 Kenya shillings in terms of rent allowance. And a person with the same capacity, same qualifications, same position, who's a Kenyan, doesn't get similar allowances, or even education, international education for their kids, being foreigners, international education, up to 1 million Kenya shillings, when the locals are not getting similar benefits, which means the government is prioritizing employment of foreigners as opposed to employment of Kenyans. And that's why probably one of the reasons why these kids rioted. Secondly, my other question is on the diaspora vote. The diaspora vote needs to be decentralized. What do I mean? Yes, we are talking about having all the embassies being polling stations, but we can go further. Like where I'm at right now, we've got Kenyan churches, and when like the ambassador is coming to, let's say, Seattle, he contacts the local pastors, and the local pastors mobilize people to come and meet with them, or meet with government officials or whoever is coming to see us from Kenya. Some of these churches are literally have been bought by Kenyans, are owned by Kenyans. Can't they register them as polling stations so that way we can be able to reach more people to vote, as opposed to me having to get a 5-hour flight to go to Washington, D.C. to be able to vote? I have to go with my kids. I can't leave them at home. Cost of accommodation, Uber, and all that cost me like $3,000-4,000. That disenfranchises me as a voter. I don't think I have anything else to add. And thank you so much for this forum.
So thanks, Jerry. You brought out a point that actually also touches on many other diasporans. They're expected to incur a lot of costs while voting, and that should not be the case. So many diasporans, as we are here, and I'm glad you're resonating with the point, and the other organizations that have spoken about that, they really want, because it's a constitutional right of the diaspora to vote, they really want to see that happen. And so the government, this point, as they listen in, the message to the president at this point, we want to exercise our voting rights and we need more the embassies. Thank you. Paul, why not Africa and then Nduta?
Thank you so much, Marge, Hillary, for hosting a very informative space. As I was listening, I realized that most of the situations or most of the issues our people were talking about are usually based on a simple thing. There is no consequence for negligence. This is why
Almost each and every one of you has mentioned corruption, right? Because there is no consequence for negligence, people just do whatever they want, well knowing no one is going to punish them. The other issue is our level of transparency in African politics is very blurry. We need our politicians to start being transparent. In fact, I suggest that before someone decides to stand for any position in office, number one, they need to be tested, their mindset, their head. Because some of them reply things to you when you are asking them for, or when you're trying to get them on accountability, and you wonder if these people deserve to be in the offices they hold. And then number three, there is an issue, someone's borrowing money from the West. We are the only group of people in the world who always claim that we are backwards because of colonialism. But then again, we run to the same people who colonized us to give us solutions to our problems. In fact, some politicians who you call presidents go in those countries to be taught about Africa. Can you imagine that? Even during the protests, I've said this before, some accounts were tagging the ICC to take action on the children of Kenya. When I say children of Kenya, that includes Ruto too. This is almost everywhere. Now, it is like telling your neighbor who has the most violent unpunished kid to help punish yours. The same ICC that is not punishing anyone else is the same ICC you are tagging to punish your children. When you have the capacity to punish your own children. So the idea that because we have been molded to believe that we cannot do things by ourselves, this is why we keep looking for those people to come and save us, even when we have the capacity to save ourselves. The other issue, when you go on corruption, the gentleman said it really well. Part of the corruption begins in our homes, begins in your character. You are not fair in your own family, and along the way you become a politician. How will you be fair to the nation? So he was right when he said we need to check ourselves, regardless of where you are, as long as you are African. In Uganda, the president once said, economy will fall if corrupt people are punished. But somehow, people are still greeting him with both hands. In Nigeria, a country that calls itself the giant of Africa, they don't even have an airline. How can you be a giant when you need Egypt or Ethiopia to take you to your home? That is what I call the illusion of strength. Then the government of Finland, someone talked about it, and he was talking about the salary of their leader. It is true. But one day I was in Tanzania, and I met one journalist who had flew in that country, to see with their minister to oversee the opening of schools in that country. And I'm always asking myself, so much resources, we are so rich, but somehow we are always looking for handouts from countries that are supposed to be dependent on us. And so, in all, I look at Kenya as a country that is going to be the spark of so many positive revolutions in Africa. This is why it is important for anyone anywhere in Africa to play a keen role and to pay keen attention to what the Kenyans are doing. We advise them when we need to, and we encourage them when we need to, we applaud them when we need to, and most especially, we make sure that we help them prosper. My last point, isolate those people who do not have the interest of the country. Isolate them. Isolate them from the churches, isolate them from the mosques, isolate them from the barrios. You know someone has stolen your money, stop smiling with them, isolate them. It's like you have a violent boyfriend. and you think the solution for the violence is to get married to that boyfriend. How is that going to work out? You know someone is stealing, but you think the solution to that stealing is for you to keep smiling at them or with them. To the politicians who are here, stop saying the government is saying this. You become a government when you work for or with the people you are claiming to lead. And some of you claim that we have structures. Structures don't make a good government. The results of the structures are what make a good government. And so we need results. Thank you to the Kenyans and thank you to the
Thank you so
Africans.
much. Why not African?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your submission, and we'll call you to be a speaker here to elaborate more on this. And thank you guys for joining Diasporian. We have 45 minutes to go, so let us stick to 3 minutes. Paul, and then Duta, then Bob, in that order. Paul, go ahead. Paul Rams, go ahead.
Can I go?
I've said
Yes.
Paul.
Paul, is that not Paul? That's Paul, yeah.
Paul, go ahead.
Paul.
Yes.
Paul, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Kindly proceed.
Yes. Thank you so much, Marge, for this opportunity. I'll try to be very, very brief. First of all, I want to start with the message to the president. Well, I can trace a little bit back when he was campaigning, and he used to say clearly that the voice of the people of God. I'd just like to ask him how the Generation Z have spoken of our people. I'd just like to ask him to listen to the voice of the people. If you can't step aside, remove yourself from the office, Mr. President. To the next generation, you've lost all legitimacy of being in that office. You know that it also says of the 7 things that God hates. The least is a lying tongue.